on November 25th.
The men and women of our armed forces may come home to some parades and some parties, but after the marching and music stops, they face some real challenges. Our Heroes Come Home project continues to show us the life experiences, both good and bad, that many veterans go through when returning from overseas. Tonight, our Chip Brewster shows you a Milwaukee organization working to make that transition a little bit easier over a cup of joe.
To the average passerby, this may look like just another coffee shop on Milwaukee's Brady Street, but it's so much more. Dryhootch's mission is to help veterans regain their lives.
I'm diagnosed with PTSD, and it took me about 2 years to even ask for help.
Tom Voss joined the Army right out of high school. Less than a year later, he was deployed as an infantryman.
Our chow hall was blown up by a suicide bomber. My platoon sergeant and squad leader were both killed in action while I was over there. And yeah, so it was a pretty rough experience for me.
Many of today's veterans have a story similar to Tom's. They became adults while serving their country, then left the military not knowing what to do next.
My past 3 years of my life, I had decisions made for me. I was told when to be places, at what time, what to eat, when to get up, and you're kind of just cut loose, and then you're sitting on your mom's couch and you don't know what's next.
Tom ended up working at Dryhootch as a part-time barista. When he started, it was just a job to get him through college. Then he began to open up about his deployment to Dryhootch founder Bob Curry.
You have people who are told to be tough and do whatever it needs to be done, and now they come back and somebody says, well, maybe you have a mental problem, and that's the last thing you want to hear.
Bob has devoted the last 4 years to helping veterans transition into civilian life. His coffee house acts as a starting place for veterans looking for help. As a Vietnam veteran himself, it's a kind of support Bob did not get when he returned home from war.
The protesters attacked us in Seattle. We went back to get on the airlines, and they threw, the eggs and the bloody chicken guts, and it was just shocking. I mean, we had no idea. It was like, what in the hell is going on? And went to the airport, and I went into the men's room, took my uniform off, stuffed it in the garbage can, put on civilian clothes, and said to myself, this never happened.
After putting the military behind him, Bob became an alcoholic. In 2002, everything fell apart. He ended up going to the VA for addiction treatment.
And during that time, it was a bunch of vets who came to my side and helped me, people I had never known before, other Vietnam vets.
As he watched the war in Iraq play out, Bob believed he was witnessing a whole new generation of veterans who would face the same issues he had. World War II vets built bars to gather in and swap stories. Bob knew he had to do something different.
Now we know that booze and PTSD is dynamite. So the idea is the social space of this generation is coffee houses. So here's an idea where I can come in and not feel threatened and not come in and ask for help. Just check it out and make sure it's okay.
In the time it takes to make a mocha, a soldier, Marine, airman, or sailor can make a personal connection that could turn their life around.
How difficult was it to transition from military life to civilian life?
It was very hard. It took me 8 years.
Heather Antonevich experienced war in both Iraq and Afghanistan. She's another vet helped by Dryhootch.
Just seeing that other people are going through the same thing I was. I felt before I found Dryhootch, I felt like I was the only one.
Coming to the coffee house, taking that first step, is often the hardest one to make. For many veterans, the stigma that something is wrong with them gets in the way.
PTSD is normal. It's a normal response to an abnormal situation.
Bob and his battalion of volunteer vets offer one-on-one mentorships, support groups, and the guidance necessary to deal with government benefits. All of it over a cup of jet fuel.
It's important for other veterans to support other veterans because we did it in the military. We had each other's back in the military. There's no reason why we shouldn't be doing it after we separate.
It's open to the community. There's no, secret meetings going on here, so come in and have a cup of coffee and talk to a vet and see what they're doing.
If you know a veteran that might be interested in hooking up with Dryhootch, it's as easy as walking in and buying a cup of coffee. If they're not in the Milwaukee area, there are Dryhootch chapters growing all over the country, including another coffee shop in Madison. Simply go to fox6now.com and we'll show you where to get the info. For Heroes Come Home and Fox 6 News, I'm Chip Brewster.
Do you know where your children are? Live from our Milwaukee studios with stories that matter to you, this is Fox 6 News.